Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're diving into a crucial skill: how to send a request body with your API calls. Whether you're creating new data or updating something existing, understanding how to send a request body is key. So, let's jump right in and explore how to do it effectively. As you can see on the screen, both the addEmployee and updateEmployee methods accept an employee object in the request. In today's session, we're going to uncover the step-by-step process of sending this request body through a RestTemplate client. Let's get hands-on and make it happen. Open up our REST client service. In the last video, we built the execute method. Now, let's speed things up by copying that over and making some quick modifications to tailor it for today's session. To make our request body more flexible, we'll introduce a generic type to the method. Now, let's clean things up a bit. Rename our class variable to response type for better readability and clarity. And let's also add an extra parameter for the request body. So, we've got the request body ready, but how do we send it? No need to worry. Spring provides us with the HttpEntity class, which allows us to send the request body. As you can see on the screen, we've already used HttpEntity for sending headers. Now, where do we put the request body? Well, Spring gives us another constructor that takes both the request body and headers. So, let's use that one. Earlier, we set HttpEntity to a generic type of string. Now, let's update it to match the type of our actual request body, so everything aligns perfectly. Alright, now let's pass our request body into the HttpEntity. Just like this, and done. Alright, our REST client is ready. Now, let's jump into the employee service class and implement the addEmployee method. Alright, let's speed things up. I'll quickly copy the getEmployee method we wrote earlier, paste it here, and make the necessary tweaks. Let's rename this method to addEmployee. Let's change the return type to employee, so we can pass the employee ID to getEmployee method and easily check if the addition was successful. The resource URL for addEmployee is simple, it's just /employee. We don't need the path variable here, so let's clean it up and remove that code. Alright, so far we've been sending the accept header to define what we want in the response. But now that we're sending a request body, we need to specify its content type too. Our addEmployee API works with JSON requests, so let's set the content type to application/JSON. Alright, it's time to send the employee object in the request body. Let's quickly create an employee object. Now, let's pass this employee object into the execute method. Let's set the HTTP method to post. Let's make a quick update to the getEmployee method. Last time, we hard-coded the employee ID, but now we'll take it as input so we can pass any ID we want. Alright, let's call addEmployee from the main method, and with the employee ID we get back, we'll use that to fetch the employee using getEmployee. We're getting an error while sending the employee ID in getEmployee because the employee ID in the employee class is of type long, but we've used int in our method. Let's fix that by updating the type to long. First things first, let's start the employee service. Our employee service is up and running. Now, let's run our REST client code and check out the results. As you can see in the logs, we received a 201 created status code from the API, which we returned. The response includes the employee object with employee ID 6. And just below that, we see the response from getEmployee. It shows the name REST client, age 20, and department developer, which is exactly what we sent in addEmployee. Everything is working perfectly. We can call the updateEmployee API in the same way. Just a quick note, when sending the employee object, don't forget to include the employee ID for the details we want to update. And instead of post, we'll use put for this request. That's a wrap for today. In our next video, we'll explore some exciting REST template configurations to level up our application. Thanks for tuning in. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and smash that notification bell so you're always updated with our latest content.